Ogbe long life, Cabo, welcome. Adupe Ori Egun, we thank the ancestors for their wisdom. Today we're talking about Ogbe Oturupon. Just a reminder to folks in my lineage, Oturupon, we can talk about it in conversation, but it's not spoken on the mat. Oturupon has the potential to invoke infectious disease. Not as a bad thing, when infectious disease brings with it the seeds of immunity. So if you get sick from something that's occurred to you in the environment, then being exposed to that illness and building up your immune system makes you permanently immune to it. So given the nature of reality, immunity is a good thing. We want to develop that. It's really at the heart of the issues we're facing today in terms of global health issues. Um, I would argue that the natural building of strengthening, the natural process of strengthening the immune system is far superior than any kind of medicine created by big pharma to deal with those issues. Medicine tends to deal with symptoms, building and strengthening and enhancing the immune system deals with illness at its root. The word Oturupon means coolness from the big toe. Big toe is a place where we connect to our ancestors. The wisdom of the ancestors is what gives us the guidance we need to figure out how to enhance the ability of our immune system to deal with hostile elements in the environment, right? And this verse speaks very, very directly to that. Sigi Sorupa Okeri Kerim Bete. It is a heavy burden for the carry of death basket, which is essentially what that says in Yoruba, I think. So, with disease, if you don't tend to it, you run the risk of an early transition, okay? You cast divination for Olomo Jifo Ko Sara, but I have a good name on earth, he asked. My father had a good name. See, that goes right to the core of the importance of ancestral wisdom in solving certain problems. In this case, if the client has a illness, the ancestral wisdom of his or her lineage is the key to fixing that problem. All right. How do we recognize Olomo Ajifoko? Sara is the name we call the iroko tree. Iroko tree is used as an ancestral shrine. It's telling in the word itself, iroko from the Elysian, new word ro, new word oko, meaning the descent of the spirit of the fathers, expansive energy. It's a reference to ancestral lineage as a continuum. The mothers use it too. It's not as gender specific as it might sound, but in any case, it's an ancestral tree. Even after felling the tree from her location, it's interesting. It makes a female reference to the tree as a pronoun, and it's not found there. They would still be using the spot as a reference point. It's so that they would say beside the iroko tree. So the iroko tree creates an interdimensional portal, which is absolutely true in my experience. If you look at an iroko tree, it's really, it can be 20, 30 feet wide. They're huge. But within the shadow of that tree, there's over 1,000 species of living things, from little microorganisms up until birds and various four-legged animals that climb the tree and live in the tree. It's really awesome. It's the quantum entanglement of all those species living together in harmony that opens the portal to other dimensions, which is why we call it a sacred tree. Um, so he made an offering to the iroko tree. They were proclaiming his name everywhere. Life so pleased the iroko tree. He said, Shigi Shorupa Okeri ni Kerinbete. Yeah, that is a translation. Is a heavy burden for the carrier of death's basket. Understanding the nature of illness that causes death is a heavy burden, and it involves a certain exposure to illness and the development of immunity, which, even though it's a good thing in the long run, can be taxing, trying, and scary in the moment. Um, when there's an outbreak of malaria, and traditionally arboriculture out in the rainforest part of the country, mothers will take their kids to ground zero for a malaria outbreak to make sure they develop immunity at a young age. Doing that may seem a little cruel, but children, typically, if they're raised in a normal, healthy environment, will have a strong immune system, certainly one strong enough to deal with the discomfort of infection by malaria, which then leads to immunity, which is an extremely good thing. Malaria sweeps through villages periodically, and it can be a nuisance, if you're not immune to it. Speaking as someone who's been infected by malaria, it's not something you want to go through. It's horrible. It's the worst illness I've ever had, with the second worst not even being close. So this verse is telling us to protect ourselves, Ogbe, destiny, protect ourselves from the negative consequences of infective disease. We do that by embracing the positive consequence of infectious disease, which is to develop the immunity that allows us to lead a full life, gives us the ashe to live till the end of our days, and then gives us the opportunity to make good names on earth, the ability to make a good name on earth. Is called Porongodo in Yoruba. Not sure how the religion breaks down on that, but in any case, this Odu, when it comes where it might be a little bit of a cause concern, also brings great hope, great healing, and great potential transformation and elevation. Ire Asheto.